A bright flash was seen in the sky over Ukraine's capital, Kyiv. This has sparked confusion and fear of a Russian missile attack. Ukraine's space agency said that it was probably a meteorite. Another official said that the flash was caused by a NASA satellite returning to Earth. However, a NASA spokesperson said that the satellite in question is still in orbit. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky inspected the Ukraine-Poland-Belarus border junction. This comes after Belarusian troops began training on a nuclear-capable missile system. Russian President Vladimir Putin recently announced his decision to deploy tactical weapons on Belarusian territory near the NATO border. Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko said that he is ready to host strategic Russian nuclear weapons if needed. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg visited Kyiv for the first time since Russia launched a full-scale invasion. This was in support for Ukraine as it prepares to launch a counter-offensive. Stoltenberg paid his respects to Ukrainian soldiers who were killed fighting the war. He also reviewed damaged Russian military equipment displayed on a central square in Kyiv. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov visited the Central American nation of Nicaragua. He met Nicaraguan President Daniel Ortega. After the meeting, Lavrov spoke to the media and highlighted the close ties between the two countries. Lavrov is currently touring Latin American countries that are Russia's allies. Earlier, he met Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva and Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. Russian FM Lavrov will discuss the Ukraine Black Sea grain export deal with the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres next week. This comes just weeks before the pact is set to expire. Russia says it won't renew the deal unless its demands on the exports are met. The grain deal was brokered by the United Nations and Turkey in July 2022 to help tackle the global food crisis. A British minister has said that Russian cyber hackers want to destroy UK infrastructure. Speaking in Belfast, the minister said that the UK was taking the unprecedented step of warning businesses of the threat posed by online hackers. He warned that a successful cyber attack on critical national infrastructure like the energy grid or water supply could do serious real-world damage. Russian President Vladimir Putin has said that delivering goods to Ukrainian regions that Russia annexed was proving problematic. Putin visited Russian-controlled territory in Ukraine's Luhansk and Kherson regions. Last September, Russia held referendums in Kherson, Zaporizhia, Luhansk and Donetsk and then proceeded to annex them. Most of the world does not accept the results of the referendums. A Ukrainian Nobel Peace Prize winner has called upon South Africa not to allow Russian President Vladimir Putin to attend a BRICS summit in August. She said it would be a great disappointment. The International Criminal Court earlier issued an arrest warrant against Putin. This means, technically, South Africa would have to detain him upon his arrival for the summit. More than 80 people have been killed in a stampede at a charity distribution event in war-torn Yemen. There were women and children among the victims. This is one of the deadliest stampedes in the region in a decade. The political chief of the Houthi rebel group has said that a committee has been formed to investigate the incident. A security official has been detained on suspicion of involvement. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the nephew of the 35th US President John F. Kennedy, has announced his own presidential bid. Kennedy Jr. is a Democrat and an anti-vaccine activist. He's been banned from YouTube and Instagram for spreading misinformation about vaccines during the COVID-19 pandemic. His father, the senior Robert F. Kennedy, was assassinated in 1968 during his own presidential bid. In the US state of Alabama, 3 people, including 2 teenagers, have been taken into custody and charged with murder. This is in relation to a shooting at a Sweet 16 birthday party last Saturday. 4 people were killed and 32 were injured in the incident. The suspects face 4 counts of reckless murder and they will be charged as adults. Workers' organizations in Argentina marched to Buenos Aires. The workers established a camp outside the country's presidential palace, where they then spent the night. They were protesting against poor living conditions and Argentina's deal with the International Monetary Fund. The deal with the IMF has driven the government to make cuts in social spending. Canadian federal public workers in Ottawa are protesting after failing to reach a deal for raising wages. More than 155,000 workers walked off their jobs. Negotiations between the Canadian government and the unions began in July 2021. They demanded around 15% raise over 3 years, but the government only agrees to offer around 10%. UN General Secretary General Antonio Guterres will convene envoys from various countries on the Afghanistan crisis. The motive is to find a unified approach to dealing with the Taliban authorities. The closed-door meeting will be held in Doha in Qatar. The aim is, and I quote, to reinvigorate the international engagement around common objectives for a durable way forward on Afghanistan. Several tornadoes and severe thunderstorms have hit the US state of Oklahoma. The tornadoes ripped off roofs and knocked down trees. The storms triggered golf ball-sized hail in several regions. Many parts of Oklahoma witnessed power outages. The European Parliament has approved a deforestation law. It bans imports of coffee, soy and other commodities into the EU if they are linked to the destruction of forests. The law will require companies to produce a due diligence statement and verifiable information on their goods. If they fail to do so, they will be at risk of facing hefty fines. Deforestation is responsible for about 10% of global greenhouse gas emissions. A new study has revealed that over 90% of India is extremely cautious or in a danger zone due to the impact of heat waves. It found the heat waves in India are becoming more frequent and severe. New Delhi has been found to be particularly vulnerable to the impacts of heat wave. Heat waves are also preventing India's progress towards achieving the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Bangkok is facing extreme temperatures. Thailand's meteorological department has warned that temperatures could go as high as 54 degrees Celsius. South and Southeast Asia are witnessing blistering sun amid a heat wave. A survey has shown that anxiety about the environment is prominent among teenagers. It makes them feel helpless about the future. A youth mental health organization released the findings of the survey. It spoke to nearly 19,000 young Australians between the age of 15 and 19. It showed that 26% of young people were very or extremely concerned about the climate crisis, while 38% said they experienced high psychological distress. A rare hybrid solar eclipse was seen over an Australian town. This is when the sun is completely blocked out. It lasted for 58 seconds, but the full eclipse event took place for over 3 hours. The hybrid solar eclipse occurs when the eclipse changes its appearance as the moon's shadow moves over the Earth's surface. Deutsche Bank is reportedly planning to cut some jobs. The job cuts will impact some positions in the infrastructure unit and private banking business. The bank will also reduce its executive board to 9 members from the current 10. This comes as Deutsche's cost-cutting measures. US authorities have slapped a fine of $300 million on data storage company Seagate Technology. Seagate has been penalized for shipping over $1.1 billion worth of hard disk drives to China's Huawei. Seagate sold the drives despite trade restrictions imposed on Huawei. This violated US export control laws. Bill Ruhena, the CEO of Redbox's owner, has shown interest in buying Netflix's DVD business. Redbox is the biggest DVD rental company in the US. This week, Netflix announced that it was winding down its DVD by mail business. However, the streaming giant has reportedly said that the business is not up for sale. According to media reports, Bed Bath & Beyond is preparing to file for bankruptcy. Reports say this can come as early as this weekend. Bed Bath & Beyond is a home goods retailer that was once considered a disruptor in the sector. The company is reportedly also looking at financing options to fund itself during bankruptcy. A group of investors at Nestle are pressuring the company to cut down its sales of unhealthy foods. They have warned that overconsumption of packaged goods poses a risk to consumers' financial returns. They're urging the company to increase the proportion of its revenues from healthier food and beverages. Australia's central bank is expected to get a new rate-setting board. The board will have independent expert members who will be responsible for setting interest rates. This comes after a review of the Reserve Bank of Australia's functioning. The review outlines a range of other reforms too. The reforms include the creation of a separate board for the bank's day-to-day operations. Google plans to introduce generative artificial intelligence into its advertising business. This will help the company create better ads. For this to work, the advertisers can supply creative content like images or videos relating to an ad campaign. The AI will then mix the material provided to generate ads based on the target audience. An Indian minister has said that tech giant Apple could double or triple investments in India in the next few years. This came after the company opened its flagship store in India this week. Apple currently assembles only iPhones in India. However, it's planning to expand into iPads and AirPods as it looks to cut reliance on China. Microsoft has said that its social media scheduling tools for advertisers will no longer support Twitter. This comes after Twitter started charging developers for accessing its programming interface. Elon Musk responded by threatening to sue Microsoft. Musk said that he will sue the company for illegally using Twitter's data. Snapchat is opening up its revenue-sharing program for more creators. To be eligible, creators must have at least 50,000 subscribers and more than 25 million monthly Snap views. They must also post more than 10 stories per month. In exchange, creators will receive recurring cash payments. The money will be generated from the ads placed between their stories. Moving on to sports, in tennis, Rafael Nadal has pulled out of the 2023 Madrid Open due to an injured hip. This will be a significant blow to his French Open preparations. He's undergoing treatment for a hip injury he sustained during the Australian Open in January. Nadal has not played a single match after he picked up the knock. Novak Djokovic has defeated 18-year-old Luka Van Asch at the Srpska Open. The 35-year-old Serb recovered from a slow start to beat the French teenager. The match lasted 2 hours and 38 minutes. Djokovic will next face either Dusan Lajovic or Gregoire Barrère in the last 8. In cricket, Lucknow Super Giants beat Rajasthan Royals by 10 runs in the 26th match of the ongoing IPL. Lucknow Super Giants defended a total of 154 to win their 4th match of the season. This match brought the two teams on par with each other on the points table, with 8 points each. Former cricketer Brendan McCullum has been cleared of breaching the England and Wales Cricket Board's code. The ECB has confirmed that he has not violated its anti-corruption codes. The board said that no further action will be taken against the cricketer. McCullum had joined a betting company as its ambassador in January this year and appeared in some online ads. Manchester City have cruised into the Champions League semi-finals. This is after the team's 1-1 draw at Bayern Munich. It gave City a 4-1 win on aggregate. It was City's 15th consecutive game without defeat across all competitions. Former Crawley Town Football Club manager John Yems has been hit with an extension to his suspension. Crawley Town is a football club currently playing in the 4th tier of English football. Yems's ban over racism charges has been extended for 3 more years after an appeal by England's Football Association. He was suspended in April 2022 for using discriminatory language and behavior towards his players. The United States and Mexico have informed FIFA that they will submit a bid to co-host the 2027 Women's World Cup. US Soccer and Mexico's Football Federation must formally submit their bidding agreement by May 19th. The 2023 edition of the tournament will be co-hosted by Australia and New Zealand. 8 healthcare workers will face trial over the death of Diego Maradona. They've been charged with homicide by negligence. They were accused of reckless and inefficient work in the treatment of the former footballer. Maradona passed away in 2020 from heart failure after undergoing a brain surgery days earlier. Golf legend Tiger Woods has undergone fusion surgery on a bone in his ankle. This comes 10 days after he withdrew from this year's Masters tournament due to injury. The operation was performed to address arthritis due to a previous bone fracture. F1 great Michael Schumacher's family is planning legal action against a German weekly magazine. This is over an interview that the magazine generated through artificial intelligence. Schumacher has been out of the public eye ever since his skiing accident in December 2013. Actor Jennifer Hudson is set to host US Vice President Kamala Harris on her talk show. This will be the first time that an elected national leader of the US will appear on the Jennifer Hudson Show. Details for the contents of the show have not been revealed. Korean singer Moonbin has been found dead at his Seoul home. The 25-year-old singer was part of the 5-member boy band Astro. According to local media reports, Moonbin took his own life. He was scheduled to perform on the 27th of May at the Dream concert in Busan. Singer Frank Ocean will not be performing his second show at the music festival Coachella due to a leg injury. Ocean suffered an injury on his leg on the festival grounds ahead of his first performance last weekend. His replacement as headliner for Sunday's event has not yet been announced. Action thriller film God is a Bullet has set a theatrical release date. The film will release in the US on the 23rd of June. This will be followed by a digital release on the 11th of July. Actors Jamie Foxx and Nicolas Costa-Waldau star in the film, which is based on true events. The title for the 2021 action film Godzilla vs. Kong has been announced. The second film is titled Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire. It will release in theaters on the 15th of March. Some of the original cast, including actors Rebecca Hall and Brian Tyree Henry, will be reprising their roles. Pixar's animated film Elemental is set to premiere at the Cannes Film Festival. It will be screened on the 27th of May in the festival's Out of Competition segment. Elemental is the 4th Pixar film to be presented at the Cannes Film Festival. The film will be released in theaters in the US on the 16th of June. Disney has announced its first ever Pride Night event. Its beloved characters Mickey and Minnie Mouse will be dressed in rainbow costumes for the event. The ticketed event will take place at Disney's Anaheim theme park in California. The event will take place between the 13th and 15th of June to coincide with Pride Month. Streaming service Paramount Plus has added 2 new Korean shows to its roster. An action thriller titled A Bloody Lucky Day and a period drama titled Queen Wu are part of the new lineup. With this, the streamer plans to strengthen its global footprint of Korean originals segment. Drama series The Good Doctor has been renewed for a 7th season. The news comes ahead of the season 6 finale on the 1st of May. The medical drama follows a young autistic surgeon played by actor Freddie Highmore. A television adaptation of the hit vampire romance novels Twilight is in the pipeline. The 4-book series is written by author Stephanie Meyer. The books were previously adapted into a film franchise starring Robert Pattinson and Kristen Stewart.